Plaintiff Kimberly Garrett says the defendant is her cousin, and she tried to take him under her wing, but she claims he missed the boat. Kimberly says when the defendant was 19 years old, he stole $1,000 from his own mother, and Kimberly's suing him today for an unpaid loan. Defendant CAREY Mitchell admits that he's made some bad decisions in life and stole money from his mother when he was 15 years old. But he insists he's now working as a high school basketball coach. CAREY claims the money from Kimberly was a gift.
Start with you.
Okay. This is my cousin CAREY. Love him to death. When he was younger, I used to take he and 4 other cousins of mine out to college when I was getting my bachelor's degree. And I would take him out to show him what it was like to be in college and that the world was his oyster. He could be anything he wanted to be. So the other 4 cousins got it. They understood everything. He kind of missed the boat. So the other 4, they're attorneys and involved. They're very successful. But my lovely cousin here, he was there for the snacks. So he just missed it.
Why do you say he didn't get the memo, if you will?
He didn't get that.
Why? What type of life did he grow up to live?
He's a wonderful guy. He's got, he's a wonderful person.
Is he a productive citizen?
He could be. And he's so interesting. I mean, he doesn't have stable employment. He's kind of piddle to post and kind of just does whatever just to get by.
Yes. What type of skill?
Yeah, many, actually, but, circumstances.
Trained. Have you been trained in a particular skill?
No.
All right. So that's probably what she means. You don't have a skill that will allow you to always maintain some type of employment. All right. Got it.
He actually took money from his mother out of his mother's piggy bank, so he hasn't been the most responsible person.
I did that when I was 5. Everybody does that when they're 5.
But it's not the same.
When he was 7?
No,
8,
no, in
9,
his 20s, no.
10,
20s,
15,
20s, 19. No. And his mother's here as my witness to attest to that.
I wasn't 19.
Sir, you still robbing the piggy bank as an adult?
Not still. But, yeah, at about 15, I did that.
That time frame expired about 8, sir. I guess give him a pass, ma'am, on all this other stuff. He's slow progressing. If he just stopped robbing mama's piggy bank at 15, he'd need another 20 years to get his skills together.
But we're not talking $15. We're talking about over $1,000 out of this piggy bank. His mother is right here too.
What's she doing with $1,000? Come on, stand up. State your name.
My name is Felicia Hall.
Now, I know you're not here to talk about your son robbing your piggy bank. And if you are, that's wrong. That's just wrong. How is he? He seems like a decent enough young man who may not have been disciplined enough to pursue the skills and the education that the other siblings did. But how would you characterize him? Is he a young man? Has he been troubled?
Okay, he's only been in jail like 1 time, but he does have a skill. He's real good with his hands, with putting things together, packing trucks to move people, so he has a skill in doing that. And he used to coach high school basketball.
Hey,
but
good man, good man. It sounds like he's doing good things, but I guess like most folks don't know, or young people don't know, put it that way, is that these days you have to have a certified skill, either some type of degree, community college, bachelor's degree, something to show those folks. You can't just say, look at my hands, I'm pretty good, I can do this. No, they say, well, I want to see an apprenticeship certificate. If you want to build, if you want to be a bricklayer, I want to see something that shows you've been trained to do that. All right? So that's the type of skill I'm talking about. If you're good with your hands, then that's where you should go. You should go to some area to become some type of contractor. And they make a lot more than these lawyers she's probably talking about. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with working hard, Your Honor.
All right, just get your skill then. Get your paperwork together, all right? All right, anything else you want to say about your son? Was he robbing the piggy bank?
I'll say he was probably around 17 or 18, because I remember calling his father to come get him. I told him, hey, get your clothes, called his dad, come and get him.
He was either on drugs and you didn't know it, or he's slow maturing. And some folks
I'll say maybe he's slow in maturing, but he claims that he took the money because he had a ticket and he knew I wasn't going to lend it to him.
$650, how does he owe you?
Well, if I may just add, This is also an issue about having second chances. In 2011, I was separated from my husband of 15 years, and during a weekend, dropping my children off to see their father, he made some crazy accusations against me, whipped out a 9mm handgun.
The defendant?
No.
Okay, the father.
Yes, this father of my children. And whipped out a 9mm handgun, shot me 3 times in front of my children, who were only ages 6 and 7 at the time. And so when I made it out of, I just had to survive for my kids. So making it out onto the driveway, thinking that everything is over. I dove out in front of my 7-year-old and turned around to find I had a gun to my head, because I guess he just wasn't done. And so my son screamed for him to stop and leave me alone, which distracted him. I was able to yank him to the ground. He dropped a gun. Neighbors were running up the street by this time. He ran back inside the house and took his own life. But second chance is when my cousin comes to me and asks me for assistance. This is his second chance. Life is a gift. Every single day is a gift. And so I wanted to give him that chance to just,
What'd you loan him the money for?
Well, he was relocating to another state, and he needed to be established and to set up shop and, just have something so that he can go on with his life and start his new job that he claimed
So is that the total amount you loaned him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me hear from you. You want to give me some background? I didn't give you a chance to give me some background on yourself. I had these women jumping on you, but I did defend you pretty well, other than that piggy bank. Go ahead. You give me some background on yourself, and then we can talk about the 650.
All right. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with working hard, Your Honor. I worked for a daycare for 5 years, straight out of high school, and at the same time, I coached high school basketball for 6. At the same time, I was doing them both, and I made some bad choices that might have ended things a little early and things like that. But the last job I had to leave because of health reasons. I have high blood pressure, so I couldn't continue with the moving company. And in that transition, I was kind of lost because, like my mom said, I'm always good with my hands. I'm using them. In a situation where the doctor told me to slow down, I'd take a step back and find something else outside of something that I love. So in that transition, that's when I contacted my cousin, and I had the job in Vegas. The third day, they let me go.
All right, and the 650 you wanted to borrow from her to establish yourself?
From California to Vegas. And originally, I contacted her to help me come up with a plan to ask her brother for the money. And over the course of about 3 weeks, he never responded. And when I spoke back to her, just said, he never got back to me and things like that. I said, I only have like 4 days left. And she was like, well, just stop by on your way to Vegas. You know what I mean? I said, I got $200 from my grandmother to rent the rental car, and now it's crunch time. I just need the last little bit to where I can live, food, little things like that. And she told me to just stop by on my way.
Oh, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. No, that didn't happen. That did not happen.
All right, you're pretty clear about that.
No. So he contacted me in June saying that he wanted to relocate. I was aware that other people had denied him the money, and I should have took it as a hint, but here I go, second chances. And so he pursued it because, boy, can he get in contact with somebody when he needs some money. So he asked for the money and to borrow the money because I have 2 children to support. So he asked to borrow the money, and that's when he agreed that he would borrow the money
and he hasn't repaid. Did you agree to repay it, though?
I mean, I honestly, I thought it was a gift.
What's your defense? Oh, you thought it was a gift.
At a later time, I agreed to pay her back. But at the time that I got it, I believed it was a gift.
All right, but at a later time you did. So now what is your defense? If your last communication regarding the money was that I will pay you back, why should
that wasn't necessarily the last communication,
regarding
but a lot has happened since then.
Regarding the money, was that your last communication regarding the money?
No, I mean, we've had a little conversation. She would call and ask about her investment and things like that. She's like, how's my investment going, and things of that nature.
What was your last response to her about the money you said you would pay her?
That I was in the process of trying to get it.
And that you would pay her?
Yes.
All right. Thank God you answered the question, man. I'm about to think you slick and slow. All right, now, I'll grant you, and I know you're neither one because you're about to lose this. $650 is your judgment.
Thank you.
He admits that his final conversation with you regarding the money was that he would still try and pay you.
Yes.
So, therefore, I'm going to order him to do so. Judgment for the plaintiff. Good luck to you, man. Keep up the good work.
I love Harpo, but this is business. I need my money. So I don't know where you're working. Pay the lady. Pay the lady.
There's no hard feelings, but I never had any intentions not to pay you. It's just the application stated any convictions in the last 7 years. The answer was no. It was 9. Later on, the third day, they told me, I had a felony on my record. I had to go. I mean, it wasn't like I set out to just not repay.
But I love you, right?
Yeah, I love you
Come on,
too.
baby. Oh.